Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be doing a vinyl update 32 I think we are on to now. So yeah, just going to be the usual, just going to show you some of like the records what I have purchased over like the last month or so. Also got a couple of like CDs, DVDs, various bits and pieces. So yeah, firstly I would just like to mention this. I've done a separate video on this. It is the Flowers in the Dirt Deluxe Archive box set here. So yeah, like I have done like a separate like unboxing video where like I first got this, but like I didn't mention the actual content off this box, what I actually get with it. And like I would say this is one of my favourite archive sets, what he's done just as far as the content goes. The bonus demos what you get of Paul and Elvis Costello sort of writing and recording these songs for the first time, they are amazing stuff to hear. Plus the DVDs really cool as well. So yeah, this is a fantastic box. Yes, it does have its flaws, the download only tracks are a bit of a pain, plus it is a little bit excessive with all the different booklets and that, but it's really cool box set here for Flowers in the Dirt. Next up, I just recently got this DVD here. It is David Bowie and the Serious Moonlight Tour of 1983, just a concert DVD. There's all of the songs in it. Very cool packaging with this. It's awful packaging, but yeah, just got this very cheap on eBay recently. So yeah, that's Serious Moonlight on DVD. Next one now, I've had this for a little while now. I think I got this pretty soon after it was released. It's this, which is a Move compilation, basically a best of their material from the 60s, and that of course I saw Roy Wood, Bev Bevan in it. Jeff Lynne was in them for a time as well. Some of the later songs that he sings, we do the version a Do Ya and that on here. And this is pretty cool here. You get not only a wee the CD, but also a DVD which features music videos, promotional clips, live stuff as well. And plus you get a booklet here as well, which just sort of has pictures of the band and that in it. So yeah, this is really nice, an essay on them, and then a even a wee poster here, which just sort of opens up like that, sort of a double-sided poster. So yeah, this is really cool, really worth getting. Lots of great sort of 60s psychedelic pop here. The Move. What's this one called? Magnetic Waves of Sound, the best of. Okay, so now moving on to the records, I've got a couple of used ones first, and then I will do some newer ones, online purchases and whatnot. So yeah, I'll just get started with this, which is a Tom Petty 12-inch single to the song Don't Come Around Here No More. You very rarely see Tom Petty singles or even albums of that. I had a hard time getting some off his LPs, but this was very cheap. Actually here, just a 12-inch single to a really fantastic song, yeah, one of my favourites from him. And interestingly, this has the song Trailer on the B-side, which is one that he's remade with his band Mudcrutch recently. This is the original version of it, which is just as good, if not better, actually, than their remake of it. So yeah, that was a great find here. Tom Petty and Don't Come Around Here No More. Also recently, I've been getting love Elvis Costello's albums. I've got this one here, which is Almost Blue recently, but I forgot to show this earlier. It's this magazine what I recently purchased, which is the Ultimate Music Guide to Elvis Costello. Just goes through all of his albums and whatnot. So yeah, the different sort of albums what he's made, and that archive interviews and stuff. Yeah, just sort of goes through different albums and that. So yeah, pretty cool one here. And also another little aside, I got this one as well, which is for David Bowie, of course. So yeah, just sort of interviews and stuff. This was really great. Different album reviews and that. There's the Fantastic Lodger album, and goes right through his later stuff, which I'm not not as familiar with. But yeah, this was a really great read. I just finished this one, sort of halfway through the Elvis Costello one. But anyway, back on track now with this album here, Almost Blue. This was released in 1981, and this was a bit of a departure for Elvis Costello and the Attractions. This was an album of country covers and that, and there's a hit on here, A Good Year for the Roses, which is a good song there, but this isn't really my thing. Just sort of got this very cheaply, and that just for the collection. Plain sleeve there, and the record label looks like that there. So yeah, that is Almost Blue by Elvis Costello. Next one up is this bought in like the same shop as like the Elvis Costello one. This is a Squeeze album. This one is called I forget the title. It says Cozy Fan Tutti Frutti. This is one of their 80s albums from 1985. They sort of like reunited that. They split up like in like 1982, and then like different Ann Tilbrook made an album in like 84, and then like the like almost like original lineup like got back together. Like I can see like Jules Holland there, like on like the back of this one. Like they got back together, made this album. This was alright. I mean, like it's not gonna be like East Side Story or like Cool for Cats, but it was a good album though. Quite 80s pop and that. But there's like custom like in the sleeve, and then the record label looks like this. Like we're still on just a standard like A&M Records, what Squeeze were on there. So yeah, this is a pretty good album here from them, from Squeeze. So the next two albums what I've got like are both from a shop like in like Dundee. Like I was kind of like sort of like going like about the shop, so like picking out like albums and that. But like I had like a bit of like a budget like on me, like I only had like, about 20 quid I think. So like in at the end I got these two, but like I thought I could done pretty well like for 20 quid. Got this one here, which is the Kinks Schoolboys in Disgrace, which is about £7. And like normally like I see like this like going for about 20, 25, 30 pounds even. And like yeah, like this isn't one of the Kinks' finest albums. This was from like the mid-70s run, like off concept albums and that. This is part of like the Preservation series, and like think about sort of like Mr. Flash, like his sort of like background and that. They really done some wacky stuff like in like the early 70s, the Kinks and that. But this I believe like is a original pressing. It comes with like this lyric insert, what looks a bit like a sort of like a textbook or like sort of like a school jotter, which is pretty cool. And then the label is on RCA Victor Records there. So yeah, this was like a really cool one to find. It isn't in perfect condition, but it is really good enough like for £7 I thought. So yeah, that's the Kinks and Schoolboys in Disgrace. Next one though, like I was a little bit more like excited like about getting it though. Like recently, like a couple of like months ago now, like actually like I bought like a Pete Townsend album called Scoop, which was sort of like home demos, like home like recordings, like of like various Who songs, like various sort of solo songs, what he done like over like the years. Like I thought like it was like a great like collection. Like I recently showed it I think like in like a like 1983 like Year of Music video. But like anyway, like I was quite surprised like when I saw this one, which is called Another Scoop. I didn't know that he put out like a second volume of this, and like yeah, this is like just as good. Like he does like sort of like home demos and that of like Who classics like You Bet You Bet, Happy Jack, Substitute. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff on here. Really nice artwork with these as well. It's a gatefold as well like that. And this came out I think a couple of years later, 1987 it says here. And like again, like the other one, custom like in the sleeves, little bits and pieces like about writing, like about like each off like the songs, which is quite interesting. And then the records are on the Polydor label there. Yeah, the other one is like very similar, just sort of like bits and pieces like a writing here, like no pictures like the other one does. Like I'm sure like the first volume like had like photos on it and that, and like again just sort of like the usual label there, Scoop, like another Scoop actually with this one here. So yeah, fantastic that like I saw this. I'm not too sure like what like this goes for, but like again this was about I think £12 or something, so I thought hey, why not? It's like fantastic stuff here. So yeah, that's Pete Townsend and Another Scoop. Next up now, like I've got like a brand new album from like Paul Weller here, like one of two albums like what he has like coming out like this year. First one here is Jawbone, the soundtrack to the film. And like yeah, like he's got like a very like busy year like ahead of him, like Paul Well. Like he's done this one, like he produced an album for a band called the Stone Foundation, what came out last month, and like also like his new one, A Kind Revolution. Like his new like proper studio album like is coming out in May, which I'm very looking forward to. But this one here like came out in like March, and like this is pretty interesting sort of music, sort of like soundtrack stuff, quite experimental and that. But like there are some sort of like more sort of singer-songwriter sort of like acoustic songs like the ballad of Jimmy McCabe is like fantastic. Bottles, great as well. Quite basic packaging of this, so just got a sort of standard black like inner sleeve, and we are on the Parlophone label there. So there's side 2, which is more sort of like shorter songs. But the first side I thought was brilliant. It's called Jimmy slash Blackout, and like it's just sort of like one whole side, sort of like an instrumental piece, just like a whole sort of big sort of sound collage, and that reminded me like a bit of like David Bowie's sort of Low and like Heroes, sort of like his like experimental Berlin music, and that. Furthermore, this also comes with like a little download code as well to download the album. So yeah, that was great there, the Jawbone soundtrack. Next up now, I've got a couple of like David Bowie albums here, like sort of like complete in like my collection quite slowly, just like getting like what I want, like when I want it, sort of thing here. So yeah, like I recently picked up this one, which is his sort of proper debut album, like if like you will, like it's actually like his second album, what came out in 1969, like it's a Space Oddity album, although I think it's also like sort of referred to like as like Man of Music, Man of Words, and like sometimes just like self-titled as well. This was interesting sort of thing, like I mean like the highlight of course on here is Space Oddity. Also some like other great stuff, such as I think I quite like the Signet Committee, and what was the other one? God Knows I'm Good, I think. I also quite like that one as well. But like I've only played this like the once, just like sort of gatefolds, and like really interesting sort of very sort of psychedelic like back cover there. Comes in a just a plain like inner sleeve with this one here, and like slightly different sort of David Bowie label here, not like RCA. Not sure what the original label for this was, but that's the label there. This is a recent reissue, I think from 2015. So yeah, that is the Space Oddity album. Very glad to finally get a copy of this. Next one, I got this brand new, like from like a like record shop, like what I was in. Like they only really sort of sold like new vinyl and that, but I thought that like the prices like were really reasonable. Like I got this one, I think for about £17, which is really good. Is David Bowie The Next Day. This is a double album, plus you get the CD with it as well. So I thought, hey, why not? We'll just get it, like try it out. Like I mean, like I went like into like this album probably like not expecting much, because the only song like I knew from it was Where Are We Now, which if I could be honest isn't one of like my favourite Bowie songs. But I played this album like as soon as like I got back, and like I just fell in love with it. Like I loved almost all of it really. Like I mean, like there's some maybe like dodgy tracks in it, but it is a great album though, especially like The Stars Are Out Tonight. Like it's just such an amazing song. Valentine's Day, like I'd Rather Be High, plus you also get like a bonus side as well. Like this side wasn't with like the normal album, and like a track like so like I'll Take You There. Just fantastic stuff here. Opens up like this, very sort of like minimalistic design, and the records look like this, just in like these sort of like inner sleeves here with lyrics on that side, and sort of all the artwork and that there. And then the label looks like this. The other record looks like this, which is a nice picture like of like Bowie like himself there, and then this looks like credits and stuff here. And then the other label, yeah, just the same design like as like the first record. And plus, like as I said, we also get the CD, which is really cool that like we chucked this in. So yeah, fantastic album. Like I'm still to get Black Star, which I've heard like it is like as good, like if not better than this. So like yeah, like I'm very like eager to get that album. Next up like is another like new release like from like last month. Like it's like latest in like a series of like live Jam albums, and like probably the last. It is the Jam live at Wembley Arena, 2nd of December in 1982 here. So like yeah, like I bought like the 1981 edition, very impressed with that. So like I thought that I would get this one like as soon as it came out here. This era like of like the Jam like is maybe like my favourite. Like I mean like they do some brilliant songs here. Like this was like their farewell tour, so like it covers like their whole career. There's like the track listing, like what they do. Yeah, just fantastic stuff here. Gatefold looks like this here, which is very nice. And then like these come with like lovely custom inner sleeves as well. So that's the first one there. Lovely picture like a Paul, and then sort of tickets and other promotional bits and bobs. and then the record label looks like that with the track listing angle here on the other side there. This also comes with a download code, but like the second LP looks like this, sort of like a tape box design there, which is really nice. And like these sound fantastic, fantastically recorded here. This is what the other vinyl looks like, Bruce and Rick there. And then the other tracks of it, yeah. So this is fantastic. Like I'll try and look into getting some off like the other ones. Like we've done like one for like each year. Like the Jam were active. So yeah, like those would be something like what like I would like look like into getting. Maybe, but they have like shot up like in price because these are all like limited edition and that. So yeah, fantastic stuff here. The Jam live at Wembley. I think we are on to the last two now. First one up is this, which is the debut album from Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. Now, like I recently reviewed their second album, Chasing Yesterday, which I absolutely loved. So I thought that I would give like their debut album a go, and this was good. Not quite as good as Chasing Yesterday, but still there are some killer tracks here, such as What a Life. If I Had a Gun, The Death of You and Me. So yeah, some brilliant stuff here. Unfortunately though, this one doesn't come with a CD like Chasing Yesterday did, like, or even like a download code, which is a little bit disappointing. But like, anyway, here is the inner sleeve, just lyrics and like whatnot. And then the record label looks like this. So yeah, a fantastic album here. Just not quite as good as Chasing Yesterday, which was a real great album there. So final one now for this video was one I bought online. Like I won this in like a eBay auction, like I think. It is the Charlatans and their album Some Friendly, sort of like a classic like Manchester album like from like the 90s here. And like yeah, some fantastic stuff in here, such as Then and Spronston Green. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have my favourite song like by the Charlatans, the only one I know. Like I think that like that was put on like the US version and like various like reissues of this, but this is a original first pressing like UK. And this is in great condition. The only slight thing is there's a bit of a rip there, like on that front, which I must admit, like I didn't even notice like when like I bought this one, like even like when like I brought it home, like I still thought that like it was like fine, like until like I spotted it there. But like anyway though, here is the inner sleeve here, which looks like that, and then there's the back of it there. And the record label itself looks like this, and like yeah, this is in pretty good condition here, like it has to be said. Yeah, a little bit thin like the vinyl, but still a brilliant album. Like love this to bits. Okay, so yeah, that's me come to the end of this vinyl update. Like I hope you have enjoyed this video. Would also just like to quickly mention that I have still got my 500 subscribers contest running. So like I would just like to say thank you to everyone like who has made an entry to that like so far. Like it's still got like a week to go, I think. So probably like the next video like after this will be like so like an update like on that, like sort of like who's like entered and like that, like just to make sure that I haven't missed like anybody's name out. But yeah, like anyway, I hope you have enjoyed, and I will see you all next time for the next video. Goodbye.